that they have cooperated, and they have, after putting forward their different viewpoints, able to reach a consensus, which I think is in the overall interest of the economy and the people.
So the next question, in terms of the service tax rates, now that entire thing will move towards 18%, and there is a probability that some of the services may be kept at a lower rate of 12%. Now this is one area where the inflationary impact to the consumer will be complete. There will be no input tax credit for consumers like us. How does the government plan to deal with this? Because this is an issue when not too much of discussion has actually come in the public domain. So your views?
Well, as far as the service tax is concerned, since it's now becoming a part of the GST, so the composition of the tax is now such that you can factor in the credit for whatever has been paid by the person from whom you are receiving the service.
Only for the industry, sir?
No,
not for the end consumer?
No, even for the industry. I mean, ultimately, you can charge only what is allowed to be charged. So, when the tax is calculated, the benefit of the taxes paid by the previous person in the chain, those benefits will be available. And I think the standard rates which have been arrived at, as well as the other slabs which have been arrived at keeping in view the overall interest of the consumers.
So the compensation, sir, on the compensation issue, sir, the compensation pool now has a sunset clause, which will be, of course, reviewed after every year. Help us understand the revenue gap that how much money will firstly come because of this cess, and how will this compensation pool really be reviewed? Will states be on board as far as this is concerned?
Right now, what has been agreed to is the methodology of raising a resource which will create a pool by which the states would be compensated. So I think that is the first big agreement by which we have now agreed that this is how the
compensation will flow.
Call it a pool or a fund which will be collected by which the states will be compensated. And I think the decision to review it is in line with the Government of India's obligation to compensate the states.
For fiber. So, very quick question on the compensation, and then I'll move on to the other issues. Creation of a complete pool, and then you'll also have a separate compensation act probably that will come in to basically regularize the whole system, as and how that comes up for Parliament clearance after the GST Council has had a look at that. So, does this take off some of the compensation pressure from the fiscally from the budget? Because now you will have a straight pool which will also be contributed by the clean energy cess, 26,000 crores coming in from here, remaining being made up by the cess as and how that is implemented. So to speak, in terms of compensation, that additionality from the fiscal side may be removed from FY17. So it's good news for the exchequer also from that point of view. It's a straight and simple methodology, sir.
I think it's good news for the consumers, because now you have a system by which the additional burden of compensating the states is not being passed on to the consumers in a way in which it would have otherwise been passed on.
In terms of taxes.
In terms of taxes. So I think this is I would say, a very reasonable and rational arrangement that has been agreed to, which keeps in view the interest of the consumers, it keeps in view the interest of the state governments, and it also enables Government of India to set apart a fund by which the states would be compensated.
So one quick question again on the cess issue. So in terms of the implementation, the modality will be coming through the finance bill, because centre has the power for cesses, but GST framework as such doesn't give that. So this is going to be a separate arrangement. Of course, a compensation cess, but probable implementation through the finance bill, so we can look
I think
that.
there is still the legislative business which is yet to be done, and the laws will have to be agreed by the GST Council, which will provide for the enabling framework or the enabling provisions.
So the centralized registration issue is still something that we're yet to get clarity on. Also, the issues of threshold, the cross empowerment issues. What is the sense that you're getting from the states at this point of time? Is because when we spoke to them, some of them are saying that those are still the contentious issues where the discussion may take a little while. So do you think that in the upcoming sessions, those legislations, getting the them passed could be some sort of an issue?
Well, I think all issues are contentious till they are agreed upon. So, yes, as I said, the whole purpose of the GST Council is that people have an opportunity to represent their viewpoint, and then it is for the wisdom of the Council to reconcile different viewpoints and come up with a solution which will be in the overall interest of the country. So, I am quite confident that the GST Council, which has exhibited so much of cooperative spirit so far, will continue in the same vein and will be able to reach a satisfactory resolution.
So one more quick question on the rate structure, if I may pose this question. So if you look at sector-wise, and these are things which will be coming up for further discussions also. There's a committee of secretaries already looking at the item-wise list, which goes into which slab. But say, for example, the auto sector. So in this budget, for example, we brought in the 1% infrastructure cess for small cars. For the other categories, we brought in a 4% infrastructure cess. So all of that will have to be factored in, will have to be built into the final rate structure, because everything will be subsumed except the clean energy cess and the new proposed compensation cess. So,
well, as I said, that there are so many things, finer details that will have to be worked out, and I don't think that we have crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's. So let the officers come up with the final proposition, which will then constitute the law.
So one final question on a different topic altogether. So the FRBM committee will be giving its recommendations on 20th November. Now we did understand at some point in time that probably they were also, it's not part of the terms of reference of course, but they were also keen to see how the GST negotiations pan out. Now from the fiscal point of view, the GST implementation will also be a very important variable. Can you give us an idea as to what could be the road forward? I mean, we are not trying to outguess like what the government may do, but that will also be an important factor that will go into in finally deciding what needs to be implemented in terms of the fiscal roadmap, sir.
I think the FRBM committee has held wide-ranging consultations. They have talked to several groups and experts, and they are taking into account all the developments that are taking place in the economy, which will influence them in writing their report. So I'm sure that they will take note of
the GST
all the developments that are taking place.
But sir, do you think a wider, a wider range as far as growth is concerned will also give them some sort of a headroom, and also, basically be able to help them pinpoint whether, we should have a number in terms of fiscal deficit, or should we have a range, do you think? Because now we're expecting a 1 to 2% growth in the economy with the GST being implemented. So,
well, I think the FRBM committee is a group of very sensible, experienced, expert people, and I can't sort of guess how they will appreciate the circumstances, but let's wait and look forward to their report.
All right, thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.